Okay, it's Phil Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat, and today is Friday, the 24th of June, 2022. Our topic today is states' rights, slavery versus infanticide. Nearly all modern historians dismiss claims that Civil War era Southerners fought to defend states' rights by rhetorically asking, quote, other than slavery, what states' rights did those Southerners want to defend? Tell me that, close quote. The question reveals their one-sided perspective and bias. States' rights and states' responsibilities are two sides of the same coin. The wording of the 10th Amendment did not reserve the rights unenumerated in the Constitution to the states. Instead, it reserved the unenumerated powers to the states. To be specific, it starts, the powers that is, not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people, close quote. Antebellum Southerners consistently objected to the federal government's assumption of unenumerated powers. One example was federal spending on public works projects. The Confederate Constitution made it clear that such projects were the responsibility of the states respectively or to the private companies themselves. For example, it was the state of Georgia, not the federal government, that built the Western and Atlantic Railroad between Chattanooga and Atlanta. A second example was the federal government's presumption of authority to pay subsidies to private industries, such as New England fishermen. No such, quote, power, close quote, exists in the USA Constitution. It was specifically outlawed in the Confederate Constitution for that reason. Similarly, the USA Constitution makes no mention of a power to adopt protective tariffs that benefit the economics of one region over the others. Consequently, the Confederate Constitution outlawed protective, meaning deterrence, tariffs. Moreover, the Confederate Constitution authorized taxes for only three purposes: military defense, government operating expenses, and the repayment of debts of the central government. Additionally, even though its Constitution authorized a Supreme Court, the Confederacy never organized one. During the antebellum era, Southerners witnessed the USA Supreme Court's tendency to make rulings and assume jurisdiction in cases that enlarged the federal government's power. As a component of that government, Southerners realized that the court had a natural tendency to increase its power and influence over the central government at the expense of the states. Southern strict constructionists believed that the Supreme Court was only intended to be a final authority on matters pertaining to the powers specifically enumerated in the USA Constitution. None of the three branches, president, Congress, and judiciary, were intended to have final authority over the rights reserved for the states. Finally, today's historians will note that Southerners endorsed the 1850 Fugitive Slave Law, even though it conflicted with some northern state statutes and thereby overrode their states' rights. But those critics fail to note that the 1789 USA Constitution included a fugitive slave law from the beginning, which was neutered by the 1842 Prigg versus Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruling. In short, the court ruled that a new federal law would need to be codified into law to ensure that an unfettered right to retrieve escaped slaves. That's what the 1850 law did. Without that new law, the 1789 rights to retrieve escaped slaves could be encumbered and impeded by state laws. Today, many observers who criticize antebellum and Civil War era Southerners for supporting a federal law to supersede contrary state laws regarding fugitive slaves, or among those who presently favor a federal law to supersede state laws deeming late stage abortion as infanticide, thereby outlawing it. If they want to condemn a fugitive slave law for promoting slavery, then let them live with the moral position of infanticide. Okay, which is what abortion, late stage abortion is. Let me recommend to you Lee's Lost Dispatch. It's my book of covers about 10 episodes, of which Lee's Lost Dispatch at the Battle of Sharpsburg is one. But you'll find others in here, such as what was the biggest mistake that the North made during the Civil War, and what was the biggest mistake that the Confederates made. So the book is $20 at Amazon. If you want an autographed copy directly from me, Lee's Lost Dispatch is $24. Just email me, Phil, PHIL _Lee, LEIGH, at me.com. Okay, that's our show for today, and thanks for watching.